Hello, Schmoville. Episode 52 of this Mother F. This is phase 3 of the podcast. This is when we were doing it at Toad Hop. Phase 3 was all of Toad Hop, and the reason the show is what it is today is because of Toad Hop and this phase. We had just had on actress Allie Coburn. That was a lot of fun. I actually missed this episode coming up. I think I was working at the time, but it was all about Prometheus. There was a lot of controversy about that movie all over the place in regards to if people just thought it was good or bad. But then there was a whole thing about, was it a prequel? Was it not a prequel? Everybody was talking about it, and they weren't sure. There was theories that it was. There was people who said that it wasn't. So Mark Reilly was not part of the show yet, but he came in to guest. And then we had our buddy, comedian Matt Knost, joined Ellis. So it was the three of those guys. And Matt Knost, we gotta have back again. He's always one of my favorite guests. He's only been on the show like 3 or 4 times, and he's a movie fanatic, and he's really smart, and he's super funny. And I don't know why we haven't had him on more. Even after listening to this, I didn't realize Knost should be on a lot more. Anyway, and then the fun part as well was Jeremy Jahns called in because he had a whole thing in his review that he did not believe that it was a prequel. And he made his theories known, and he talked about it, and he had a full discussion today with both on this show with Ellis, Reilly, and Knost. So if you haven't checked out this one and you like Prometheus, or you didn't like Prometheus and you want to talk about Prometheus, check out this episode. And as always, if you want to watch the full video, it's in the description of this video. Enjoy it, and enjoy episode 52.
Live from Universal Studios Hollywood in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
ToadHopNetwork.com.
Radio worth watching.
Radio worth watching.
Welcome, one and all, to the Schmoes Know Movies podcast. I am Mark Ellis. A special hello to everyone who is listening / watching us live on the Toad Hop Network. Right now, ToadHopNetwork.com. Welcome to the Schmoes Know Movie Show, guys. This is our big Prometheus episode. Very excited about it. We're going to have big people calling in. Jeremy Jahns, our good buddy, is going to call in the second half of the show. Maybe some other special phone calls. We have some big in-studio guests with us. There's only one, and I shouldn't even bring it up. It's so minuscule, most people probably won't notice it, but I'll go ahead and say it anyway. No Christian Harloff today, guys. Yeah. No Christian Harloff. And again, you probably wouldn't even notice he's gone. He is on assignment.
He's insignificant, is what you're saying?
I'm just saying that maybe they wouldn't even, they'd say, you know, what happened to that other guy? And then it would just kind of disappear for a minute.
Yeah, Dane Cook's cousin. Where did he go?
Was that conversation we had in Starbucks about you taking applications? Was that true?
Well, you know, I drink a lot before the show, but I'm sober, I'm clean right now, I'm ready to go. Those other voices that you guys are hearing are our two very in-studio guests today. We have my good comedian buddy, Matt Knost, ladies and gentlemen.
How is everybody?
From the Comedy Store days. He is you're a big movie buff, and we talk movies all the time, and then finally we actually got you into the screening of Prometheus, so we all got to enjoy it together.
It was fantastic. Happy to go. Like, I'm down for...
Are you talking about the movie was fantastic, or the whole seeing a movie with Mark Ellis?
Look,
was fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Exactly.
It fun.
Always is, because you manage to be positive about everything. Who doesn't love that in their life? You know what I mean? I'm sticking to the ground right now. Well, it keeps you level and keeps you here, keeps you centered.
Look, I'm a big fan of sitting in a dark room for 2 hours when I don't have to talk to anybody. So,
so am I.
On the other side of the dial is Mark Reilly, a independent filmmaker, a writer, and most importantly, a contributor to the schmoesknow.com website.
That's right.
Welcome, and Mark, you also saw Prometheus.
Yes, I did.
And if you haven't seen Prometheus, this is our big Prometheus podcast, so this is going to be a spoiler-heavy kind of podcast. We gave you 5 days to see the movie. Our producer, Jeff, is not happy about it because he has not seen Prometheus yet, but most of our fans have seen it, and they're dying for us to talk about it. Everybody's very excited about this hour, so we want you guys to be a part of the show. All you Schmoes Know fans, we want you guys to tweet in at Schmoes Know, and what do you want us to talk about in the world of Prometheus? Do you have questions? Do you have comments? Whatever you guys want to do, let it fly. We'll try to read a couple of your tweets, and please feel free to give us a call here at Toad Hop, 888-520-4374. The phones are already lit up. We'll try to take a couple phone calls, but again, very, very busy day here at Schmo World. So let's start off with just your overall impressions, guys, of Prometheus. Mark, let's start with you.
Oh, wow. I loved it.
Well, that's very succinct answer.
I mean, I love that it's like polarizing right now on Facebook and Twitter. People either love it or they hate it.
And that's kind of what I liked about the movie, to be perfectly honest with you. When I gave this movie 4 out of 5 schmoes. So
I would have given it, Christian asked me what I would schmo it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 as well.
You know, I was talking to Christian before this came on, because Christian is he's so upset that he's not here today, because he wanted to talk Prometheus for hours and hours and hours on end. So I kind of feel like this is the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where I am Harrison Ford and he's Sean Connery. He has this whole Grail diary that he's been waiting to use his whole life, and then he gets shot. So somebody else has to go through all the steps for him.
That's where he is right now. He was kidnapped by the Nazis.
That's right. He's laying wounded in a temple somewhere in the Middle East.
Well, then that does kind of give credence to what you're talking about with the applications before. That means the next one, he's gone. You know what I mean? He's a picture frame on a desk, and that's all he is in the script. Bing, bang, boom. You're gone, my friend.
Well, let me point this out. All I said was that Christian was on assignment somewhere, and all of a sudden, Christian, you have people gunning for your job.
We can read
left
between
and right.
the lines. We can read between the lines.
We are definitely here to take his position.
Yeah, it's a duo, is it? It's we?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, Mark. I got no problem with that.
You get 2 for 1, or 1 for 2. Yeah, 2 for 1.
2 for 1?
That's early.
Sounds good for me.
Two guys doing the job of a half a guy. You know what I mean? How much is he given these days? He's not even here.
Well, and the main reason Christian was disappointed that he's not here today is that there was this thing that kind of came online, and we're going to get into this in the second half, but just kind of a tease. Our good buddy Jeremy Jahns, who's a very talented movie reviewer as well, him and Christian really had this kind of, I don't want to say a debate, it's not a fight, but it's a different point of view as to whether Prometheus was a prequel to Alien, to 1979's Alien, or whether it was a spin-off from that world. And so there's this big online debate from a lot of people as to what exactly is this movie in relation to Alien and to Aliens, and then Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. We're not really going to cover
I don't know how
those.
those tie in.
Yeah, if you want an Alien versus Predator podcast, you can just come hang out with me and Knost at the Comedy Store this weekend. And then, so Matt, so you see, how big into the Alien world were you before you saw Prometheus?
I like the franchise. I mean, there have been some exceptions that, what was it, Alien, the fourth one, Resurrection?
Yeah.
That thing was a clunker. Yeah. And then AVP, okay, we all know how bad that was. But, like, Aliens, and then I actually liked the third one where they go to the penal colony. I've enjoyed, like...
You liked Alien 3?
Yeah, I did. I don't think it's great or anything.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's David Fincher.
Yeah, exactly. It's a well done movie.
But it's also the last hour is Sigourney Weaver and Charles S. Dutton closing garage doors on aliens. That's pretty much the movie.
Sometimes you got to have that.
Yeah. Again, it's a spoiler alert podcast. So
she always wanted to be on rock, so this was her chance. I don't know what that means, but
and so then you walk into Prometheus and you're like, okay, well, look, this is going to be really exciting because this is Ridley Scott, and he hasn't done a sci-fi movie in a minute here. He did Alien, he did Blade Runner, and so he's one of these guys that really reinvented the sci-fi genre. You know, before Alien came along, you had your big Star Wars movies, and before that, it was guys running around in apes' masks for Planet of the Apes. And then Alien comes along, and you're like, man, this is a really cool horror suspense kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So Prometheus comes out, and you're like, is it going to be more horror suspense fan? Is it going to be more action? What's the story going to be? And I got to tell you, when I was in the theater watching this, I saw it in IMAX, I saw it in 3D, and I just got sucked into this world, and I really, really liked the 2 hours I was in that theater.
Yeah, I was sitting there, I didn't even realize the time had passed. I mean, I was just that into the movie. They grabbed me from the first shot.
Now, but then after you walk out of the theater, then that's what I liked about this movie too, is that you start to have questions. I like movies that that you can have a podcast about and get away with it, because there's so many questions you have. You're like, wait, how does that link up? What's happening? So within the Prometheus story, what's maybe without it linking to Alien and Aliens yet, what's maybe the biggest question or concern you have about that actual story?
Okay, why do the damn scientists? I'm assuming we cuss because I've done other toad hops in there.
Yeah. Get in there. Use your mouth, sailor.
Why do the damn scientists who have a profession where everything is rules, protocols, like there's a checklist before I do anything, before I make this checklist, I have a checklist for that, and yet everything they do in this damn movie is. Yeah, let's just throw caution to the wind. Hey, let's take our helmets off. Hey, let's fiddle around over here. Hey, don't touch that. I think I'm going to touch that, actually. Every time, like, I was engrossed in the movie just as much as you were, and then periodic things like that would happen. You're like, the fuck is going on? Like, why do they keep doing that?
Well, if they didn't touch anything, we'd have no movie.
Yeah, that's very true, but it could be one rogue guy as opposed to everybody is going, you know what, I'm with him. Let's throw a tennis ball at that right now.
I kind of got when the first guy took his helmet off.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, there's your Han Solo. There's the guy he's like, oh, look at how big my balls are. I'm just going to take this off because I love being in this world. But then everybody else takes their helmet off. And it's like, whoa, we need somebody. And again, these aren't just normal scientists that applied for a job. This is the best of the best.
Yeah, it's what's supposed to be. Although the guy in that, I'm glad he dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was happy he got picked off. I didn't like his character at all.
Not a fan, huh?
No,
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, they fly in, they land on that whatever it is, LV 223 or 6 or some jazz like that, and you know what I mean? Everybody.
You were not one of the scientists flying in.
Yeah.
We're flying to LV.
I beg to
38.
differ. But anyway, so they fly. They've just done a huge, multi-year journey to get there, and they don't find anyone. So he spends the rest of the movie sulking. You just proved the existence of your argument, that the fact that there are other life out there. There's so many other monumental things that you can prove, and the fact that you didn't get to say hi to somebody, and you're really gonna, pee in your own Cheerios. That guy drove me nuts. Just, I was so happy when he died. It's like, yeah, flamethrow him, because that is awesome. I'm ready for him to go.
Mm-hmm. Now, Reilly, what about you? What was your big question mark kind of leaving Prometheus?
It was how the alien gets made, I guess. Because you see that last shot of the movie, and I wanted to know. Which
I loved. I love seeing that thing. I like seeing familiar stuff. Maybe I'm just an idiot and I clap when I see stuff. Oh, I remember that, but I thought that was so cool.
It was really cool, and it just made me think, because it was these engineers, right? They create the humans, and then they create something to destroy the humans. And that thing that destroys the humans, when it gets on somebody, then they become like some kind of zombie. You know what? I'm going to go to this Facebook post that I saw. It was this picture that it says breaking down Prometheus, and it says if you take the vat of black stuff with a human, you get like a zombie, and you get that guy, Holloway, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you get like Christian after 8 p.m. at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if
guy's got a kid, he's just done after 8 p.m.
And then if
bang bang boom,
zombie. Then you get zombie guy with the weird eye stuff having sex with human. You get face hugger.
Okay.
Right? She's giving birth to a face hugger.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a really weird futuristic sex ed class.
Yeah.
Right now.
Face hugger.
Sit down, and we're going to learn about sex. And then you get face hugger goes on engineer. You get alien, and I would assume that if that face hugger that came out of the girl, if that went on a human, you'd get another alien. Mm-hmm. So, I'm wondering where those other pieces are.
Okay.
That create the alien.
Okay, well, let me backtrack a minute, because that's one of the big questions I had, is that as soon as this movie starts, it's visually stunning.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
100%.
It's incredible, and then you see this guy, the engineer, right? This dude, a really shredded dude. Mm-hmm. He clearly owns himself a shake weight, and he's like really pale, and he's bald, and he's standing at the edge of a waterfall, and he drinks something, and then he just kind of starts going crazy. What happened there?
Yeah.
What I don't understand about that is, was that his spaceship leaving? They were just making sure that he was going to drink that, because that was
what I got from it.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know, or if that was another civilization forcing them to do that as some sort of penance or what.
He looked like he knew what he was in for. He looked like he was prepared for.
It looked religious.
Stuff to go down,
like a ceremony. And when he took the stuff and he had the robes on, it was pretty cool.
Reilly has tapped into the Twitterverse, because we just got a tweet from. Let's see, we got.
Am I tapped in?
You're tapped in because everybody.
My 35 followers are getting crazy.
At Elliot_Leach is asking. He said Prometheus is phenomenal. Please talk about how the religious aspects make it different to Alien.
It's very religious, and
is it?
I see a lot of religion, and there was actually a great article that was on Facebook, and I can't even remember the guy's name, but that they supposed that an engineer was actually Jesus Christ. And that we destroyed him, and that's why they were coming back to destroy us with these vases full of black stuff. But they're saying that they sent Jesus Christ. One of the engineers sent Jesus Christ. That was one of them. And then because we crucified him, that's why it was a big no-no.
Oh, Jesus was an engineer?
That's what this guy supposed.
He had a great head of hair for an engineer.
Well, they said that the problem the engineers had with us when they once was it David is the name of the cyborg?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, once David figures out, the rough timeline as to when they were all supposed to actually make that launch against Earth was about, how many ever thousands of years ago would have coincided with Christ being on Earth. So there is, and there's all kinds of other weird things like the the fact that the female scientists can't get pregnant,
Yep.
and then they're there on Christmas, and then she has an immaculate conception and is pregnant within whatever the case is.
Oh,
and
so
then,
it's kind of like a Mary
Christmas.
thing.
yeah, exactly.
I
so
didn't
there's
even think about that.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
great.
lot of tie-ins. I can't claim that. I read an article online.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but I can't claim that.
You heard it from Matt Knows first, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
He is comparing
Breaking news: he
Prometheus
stole that from someone else.
to the creation story. Well, speaking of the engineer, we have our switchboard is lighting up here. I really appreciate all you
I
Schmoes
love it.
fans calling in and tweeting us. We're going to get to as many as possible. Let's take our first phone call today from Kristen. She wants to talk about the engineer. Kristen, what do you got for us?
Oh, I was about to say the same thing, except not that religious. I thought the engineer, the original one, who drank that weird little stuff from the cup, was actually on Earth creating humans. And I did not get that till the very end.
Yeah, no, I got that. I think that's what.
So that was on
the
Earth?
opening- Yeah, that was on Earth.
That happened
because
on Earth.
He, and it looks like the engineer did it around the site where we first meet our heroine. What's her name? I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
Please help me out.
and that tied in with all the little pictures on the walls.
Exactly.
And then, Kristen, before we let you go real quick, how many schmoes did you give Prometheus? How big of a fan of it were you?
Oh, I loved it. I just, the thing that threw me off was all the loopholes. And, I mean, but besides that, I thought it was a great movie. The only thing is I thought they could have gone farther with the aliens. I mean, they pulled a straight-up
Well,
squid outside of her, you know? Like, they could have, like, stretched that a little bit further. You're going to take something from the ocean? Like, use your imagination a little bit with the squid.
well, and thank you for the phone call, Kristen. I think that maybe you're going to get more alien stuff if they make another one. You know,
I think so, too.
I think without getting too far into it, I think that maybe it's a prequel to a prequel of
Yeah.
something else that we're going to see.
I think we're going to get
before.
Prometheus
Now what?
2 and Prometheus 3, and
Yeah,
it's going to tie
prequel
right
to a
in.
prequel.
You're the guy talking about this is the Immaculate Conception and it's Christmas and you're
just-
singing Christmas carols over
I
there.
love how you're giving Ridley Scott an out for his out.
It's a prequel to the prequel.
Do you think it was Ridley Scott or it was Damon Lindelof who's got the Lost background?
Yeah,
So
that's
he's
true.
like, let me just go ahead and fucking confuse you guys.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
The next one.
How long can we draw this out?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw a hatch in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's take another call. Let's go to George here. George has been waiting forever on line one. George, you want to talk about the character David, Michael Fassbender's robot in the movie. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, first of all, Fassbender was amazing in the film.
Absolutely.
Yes, he was.
Totally agree.
And it's just interesting that humans created the cyborg, and I feel that he had so many human characteristics. I don't feel that he just did things on order. I feel like he kind of did stuff free thinking, and I feel like if a human creates something so close to a human being, there are going to be human characteristics in that being, and therefore that's why he was kind of free thinking as opposed to just doing things on command.
Very interesting point. Thank you for the phone call, George. Your guys' thoughts about this robot, because he's kind of the precursor to Bishop, Lance Henriksen's character in Alien and Aliens, who everybody loves. If you don't love Lance Henriksen, you at least love Bishop.
Well, Ian Holm in Alien. He was the,
That's right.
Yeah, the
that's
original.
Android. He was the original. And I saw similarities between their two characters because they're both so interested in the aliens, or finding what makes everything tick. You know, you see this look come over them every time something alien comes into contact.
Yeah, and that's a good question too, is because you see this android and you like, oh, he's got ulterior motives from everybody else. He wants to do something else on this mission. And we got a tweet from Tyler Christian at Cali Critic. Do you believe the conspiracies that Charlize Theron's character was possibly an android, much like David?
No, I think that was his Wayland's actual daughter, who's going to take over the company and everything like that. And she was jealous of David because Wayland is clearly saying, hey, look, this is the offspring I wish I could have had.
Yeah.
He is infinitely better than you.
Yeah.
You're just here to manage all the rest of the crap while I try and extend my life. I think she was just a bitter child who wanted to, take over for her father.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. If Charlize Theron was my daughter, I'd be very disappointed, because that means I'd never be able to sleep with her.
Yeah. Well, I
Come
don't think
on.
she was an android.
You're
'cause-
from Virginia. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's the good South. It's the northern part of the
There's no such
South.
thing. I'm from the South. There's no such thing as good and bad South. It's just the South.
We're a fan of monster trucks. We also are illiterate. We like
she
everything.
Yeah.
She wasn't an android because the captain stooped her. You know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
He would have come out and said, "Whoa, everyone."
Yeah.
Unless she's got that cyborg, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
that
the-
bam, just grabs on and.
Cyborgs can do everything in that movie. And
It's
then,
like
That made me
Deadwood. Do you ever
cough.
watch Deadwood? They got that celestial plate that comes out and they reach out and grabs a man. You're like, oh, I like this celestial plate.
Yeah,
this
that
is.
sounds good.
Yeah.
is there any, this is from Eon Brosnan, at Eon Brosnan, is there any particular reason as to why David intentionally spikes Holloway? He was confused about that.
Oh, I loved that part, and I got in an argument with my roommate on it. He was like, "Yeah, why was he doing that?" And I definitely got that he was testing the waters. He wanted to see. I mean, why would he just take a droplet and put it on his finger and then just dip it into the drink? If he really wanted to go for it, he'd just pour the whole vat in there. But it was so subtle what he was doing, and I knew he was.
Well, if a
it.
robot pours a whole vat of black crap into a drink,
right.
then I'm probably not. I don't care how
but
drunk I am. I'm
not
not going to have
else.
it.
But that little dip, that he put in that his alcohol, I just thought, oh, he's fucking with them. He's testing this stuff out right now.
Yeah,
and I love it.
Yeah,
okay.
I would say that as well, but my problem with that sequence is that he seems spiteful. Like, he could have been getting that order from Wayland, who was behind closed doors and whatever, and saying, hey, test that out. Because he kept, channeling or whatever, video conferencing, so to speak, with him when he's behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But when he went to do it, you could see the revenge in his eyes of going, you keep talking shit about me, that I'm not human, I don't have a soul. I am choosing you. I'm getting you back. Whereas he might have not been the best test subject, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been the woman for possible procreation, or shouldn't have been, XY or an expendable crew member or something like that, as opposed to one of the scientific leaders of this.
Yeah, because it seems like at the end, the robot is willing to help out to try to save her life, or is that just him saving his own ass? Is he like, hey, I am a head here, and that's all I am. If you can grab my body,
handsome head,
and a very good-looking head,
yes.
a very head that maybe there's a body somewhere that's very well endowed, but I don't know because I'm just a head right now. So if somebody can come rescue me, that's the only reason that he gives her a warning that they're coming for.
It could be, I don't know, but then that in and of itself, too, with then self-preservation, that seems like a very human emotion.
Yeah.
So he's expressing emotion again.
Yeah.
But that one is just like prime directive for him is, I gotta keep moving, I gotta keep going. So.
Yeah, I think he wants to know as much as she does, and I think he continues to want to find out these species and find out all that he can about it. And I like the whole self-preservation thing. I think he's a head, so you have to.
Man, that's the problem with robots. You create them, they're cute for a while, then they just become too human-like. To quote White Zombie, more human than human. Let's take one more phone call before we go to break here. We're going to go with Chris, because Chris wants to talk about Charlize Theron possibly being a cyborg. Chris, you are on with the Schmoes Podcast. What are your thoughts?
What's up, Mark? About the robot thing, there's a lot of different theories about it, because there are two different, evidences that could say she's a human or a robot. One of the things, I'm not entirely sure, but it's really clear that Ridley Scott was never given, any defining evidence to either theory, because she never bleeds once in the movie. The way her character dies, she gets crushed, and you can't tell, you don't see, the matter of what she left behind. And there's also... The thing that really got me, though, was when Ridley Scott was at Comic-Con, somebody asked him, and you can see this video on YouTube, somebody asked him, before it was known that Fassbender was playing an android, someone asked him, would there be any android characters in the movie, and he said, there might be two.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Wow.
And you can find that on YouTube, and so it's possible that and some people think that maybe she is an android, she doesn't actually realize that she's an android, like the replicant in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Right. But, she sleeps in a cryo chamber in the beginning of the movie. But so did Ash in the first Alien.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And she got out of that cryo chamber pretty quickly. She was pretty spry right out of that thing doing push-ups. So I kind of think it's a ruse. I kind of think they wanted you to believe that maybe she's an alien. I think just to kind of lead you along, or a robot to kind of string you along a little bit. I think she probably was human. And thank you for the phone call, Chris. Chris Stuckman, very cool movie reviews online as well.
Well, what if she's an android and she's under that big thing, and there's the alien on the other side, in the ship, and Prometheus 2? Maybe we'll see.
The prequel to the prequel.
What, she bench presses the ship off of her?
Hey, she was doing push-ups. She's just she's superhuman strength here. So,
yeah.
Maybe she's alive.
I don't know, though. If she was a robot, would she have run around like a scared rat, like every other human would be, as the ship is coming down? Wouldn't she just calculate the odds and be like, my best chance of survival is running that way, as opposed to just running like like she was on fire?
She ran to the perfect point where she'd be crushed to death.
Yeah, exactly.
She seemed pretty cold-hearted when she was setting everybody else on fire. But again, that could just be that could just be a woman in outer space.
I think she just knew the frustration of the audience saying that guy needs to die.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm doing this
doing it for
Matt
us. For us.
That's right.
God,
And
that guy was annoying.
Maybe, and again, my point, we're going to get in, when we come back on the Schmoes Know podcast, we're going to get into all this sequel versus, or prequel versus spin-off stuff. What is the movie? How does it link up with Alien? We're going to have our good buddy Jeremy Jahns is going to call in for a little while. And we're going to talk about why, if you're a scientist, you should never have sex in outer space, because that's why China and India are beating us. Their scientists take care of protocols when they get out there. We just can't keep our horny hands off each other. Matt Knost, Mark Reilly sitting in here on the Schmoes Know podcast. I am Mark Ellis on the Toad Hop Network. We'll be right back. That is the Terminator 2 theme.
Yeah.
Brad Feidel doing the score. And if Ridley Scott's listening to this podcast, he's like, really? You're doing a whole podcast about my movie and you're going to play James Cameron's Terminator franchise?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I have no reasoning for it.
It's great music. Mark Reilly's on board. Welcome back to the Schmoes Know podcast on the Toad Hop Network. Thank you for watching / listening. I am Mark Ellis. Christian is on assignment, which is what we call buying muscle relaxers in Tijuana these days, I guess. He's working very hard on Schmo stuff, so he cannot be in studio today. We're also joined by my good comedian buddy, Matt Knost, who I think I'm going to be at the Comedy Store this weekend, and you're going to be around those parts as well.
Yeah, I'll be there. I know I'm there tonight, and then I'll be there later this weekend.
All right, Wednesday, you can always check out Matt, at Matt Knost is his Twitter handle, which apparently Grandpa's going to start getting back on.
Yeah,
I'll
do it. I get enough new people and enough people bitching that I don't do anything. I'll do it.
And Mark, you are at
Reilly Around, Reilly.
Reilly Around is his Twitter, and of course, you know our Twitter at Schmoes Know. Keep tweeting us in all these great comments you have about Prometheus, because it is the Prometheus podcast. It's spoiler heavy. We're talking all things Prometheus. If you haven't seen the movie yet, get your butt to a theater, see it. I recommend seeing it in IMAX in 3D.
I'm going back. I only saw it in 2D.
You didn't see it. You saw it in 2D. Knost and I are sitting in there, and we're just loving this big spectacle. You say whatever you want about the movie, in particular, how it links up to Alien and Aliens and all that good stuff. The spectacle and the way it looked was just stunning in 3D and IMAX.
Yeah, captivate, just amazing. So well done.
Yeah, I know. I missed out on that. I thought I'm not a big fan of 3D, so I thought it was going to hurt my eyes again. So I went the 2D route. But
I think in the past year it's made a quantum leap, because I hated it, and then I've seen about 4 or 5 this past year. Because I kind of hit you up, Mark, saying, hey, is this one worth 3D? Is it worth the extra, whatever, $4 or $5? Most times I'm willing to say no. But every once again, I think it's just gotten better and better and better. I mean, there was a time, like when I saw Tron, I had no idea what was going on. Like in 3D,
I don't think the people in Tron had that much of an idea what was going on in Tron Legacy. Tron is one of those movies where you saw it, then you're like, what just happened? What just happened?
A lot of just expounding. That's all it was. Just, hey, let's talk about more of what's going on.
But Prometheus, yeah, that's definitely worth your extra $1 in IMAX and in 3D and all that good stuff.
There you go.
Matt, you were saying Matt's going to have to leave in a minute. We're going to have Jeremy Jahns is going to call in. We're going to have our big prequel versus spinoff debate, discussion, whatever you want to call it, battle of the books kind of deal, where we're going to have a side. Everybody's going to have to pick and choose who they want to battle with here.
That's
Matt,
great.
your overall thoughts of Prometheus, though, as a fan watching the movie and then afterwards, because everybody has all these questions after the movie, does that affect your overall feel about how you actually ended up liking it?
I think it just walked away with too many questions. There were too many, like, hold on, why did that happen? That I enjoyed the film, but I think that there were some serious flaws. Like, why did the 2 scientists that get stuck in the temple once the storm rolls in? First off, they're the ones that created the maps for the entire system, and they can't find their way out. Okay, I'll let you slide on that one. It's a foreign place. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. That's fine. I get confused in the dark as well.
Yeah.
And there's an opening for a joke if you want to go ahead and take that, Mark.
You get confused in the dark?
Go ahead.
Hey, we all do. 7 minutes in heaven, 10th grade. I had no idea what was happening.
I appreciate the 7 minutes. But anyway, I think, okay, those 2, they come upon that pile of bodies that's in front of the door, and they start freaking out, which I thought was a great scene. Like, what do you mean there's a blip, and they're going apeshit? And then they walk in that room where all those vases have spilled over, and there's all that black crude all over the oil, and then the one pops out of the black crude, and then they went from being petrified of all alien life form to going, check this little guy out.
Yeah.
What's this little guy doing? What's that little bit, and you're like, hold on, you literally have shit yourself in your suit, and now you're going to play patty cake with this alien? Like, it made no sense.
You don't do that, and I know it's 100 years after the movie Jurassic Park came out, but if you learn anything from Newman's experience with that Velociraptor, whatever he was dealing with at the beginning, it's they look cute initially, and then they're really going to get pissed off pretty soon. So just get out of there.
Yeah, have they never seen a movie? Aren't they 1,000 years in the future? What? Actually, wasn't that far. It was like 50 or 60 years, wasn't it? Something like that.
And that snake thing didn't look cute. I got to tell you, that thing came out of the water. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Expanded its hood like a cobra.
Yeah.
And what makes you go, look at this adorable little guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing about that said, I want to hug him.
Not buying it. So all you younger viewers out there, stick with dogs and cats if you want to get a pet. Don't try to domesticate an alien. It just is not going to work out well for you. We're going to have now. When you talk about it being a prequel, okay, everybody's like, "Oh, well, it's not a prequel. It doesn't directly link up with Alien and Aliens." Mark, you said that you saw Alien and Aliens. You've done your homework.
I've done my homework.
Yeah.
I watched Alien the day after Prometheus, and I watched Aliens last night, and it's kind of connected. I see it. Not only
kind of connected is not going to hold up in this epic debate we're about to have.
Epic debate aside, it is connected. I'm going to go on record saying that.
Okay.
We got the Wayland Utari Company, right? That's all over Alien. It's all over Aliens. Don't remember it in Alien 3 or Resurrection.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And not only that, but I love the connective tissue visually. If you watch Alien and you watch Aliens, there's these slow-moving tracking shots that do the ships when people are waking up. And it seems to pull you into the universe that way. And it's something about setting the tone and setting the look of the universe that was so great that I saw replicated, that Ridley Scott basically replicated what he did in Alien with these grand sweeping vistas of these beautiful countrysides wherever we were back in Earth. But then when we get on the ship and he's going through the ship and he's looking around, and it was just stunning. And he did that in Alien, and then James Cameron did it in Aliens when we introduced to the Marines. He's showing the ship, he's showing the hypersleep pods, he's showing all the different areas of the ship and setting this great tone. And so you have the company, you have this visual reference that is anchoring you into the universe. I truly believe Prometheus is an absolute prequel. And what's nice, what I think, is that we're also going to get Prometheus 2, and we're going to get Prometheus 3. And that's going to link everything together, I think, for Alien.
$30 more for Ridley Scott to link it up with Alien. And this is probably the worst movie to talk about right before you go to the dentist. But our buddy Matt Knost does have to take off.
Yes, I got to go.
And hit the dentist.
I got to get a tooth fixed, and then...
you chipped a tooth?
Yeah.
Doing what?
More than likely playing basketball on Saturday. But I bit into a salad Saturday night at a show about 10, 15 minutes before I'm supposed to go on stage.
Oh, geez.
And then a nice chunk of tooth came out.
I never eat before I perform. Those comedy club salads, you just can't trust them.
You just can't.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us. We want you back on the podcast soon for the full hour. Thank you so much for lending your comedic talents and your alien insight.
Thank you. Pleasure being here. Mark, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Matt.
And Schmoesville, hopefully I'll see you guys.
It's Schmoeville, and we're going to get a chili soon. Follow Matt on Facebook, too. Matt Knost, Knost. That's our buddy Matt Knost, ladies and gentlemen.
Likes to say notes.
Well, we lose a Matt Knost, Mark Reilly, but we are about to be up one Jeremy Jahns. Jeremy Jahns is joining us from his home base. Jeremy, you're on with the cuter, more handsome schmo, Mark Ellis here. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Mark and Mark?
Doing well.
Jeremy
Jahns.
It's almost like you're...
This is the Mark Show, officially.
Hey, now that Matt left, we are the official Mark Squared show.
Yeah, we both kind of have like that deeper kind of radio-friendly voice, so it doesn't matter who's talking. His name is Mark. Jeremy...
You can call me Reilly.
What was your overall thought about Prometheus before we get into actually how it links up with the other films? Just your overarching kind of statement about the film. How do you feel about it?
Well, first of all, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I have a rating called that. I have a weird rating system, and one of them is a good time, no alcohol required, which is it's a positive review. That means you can watch the movie stone sober and enjoy it, and it's positive unless you give it to a Ridley Scott movie, in which case it's not positive enough, not by a long shot. But I did enjoy it.
I think that's one of the overarching kind of beliefs of most of our fans is that they really enjoyed the movie. But when you're talking about this huge thing that had so much buzz, when you see the trailers leading up to this, and you hear Ridley Scott's back in the sci-fi, and maybe this is going to link up with Aliens. It's this cool Prometheus, dark, mysterious thing we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You want it to be a 5 out of 5 schmoes. You want it to be awesome-tacular, and it just didn't get to that point. But again, I don't think you need a good shock top to enjoy that, which Jeremy and I know a little bit something about.
the shock top and the rum and coke are the way to go.
Yeah, you may need a few of those.
Right.
If you're going to watch Alien Resurrection, you may need about 10 Jack and Coke to get through that movie. And then, Jeremy, then this thing happened online, I guess, this week. One of our joint fans kind of put up a video where Christian was hell-bent on saying that this is definitely a prequel to Alien. Christian went so far as to say you're a dummy if you don't think it's a prequel to Alien, which I would never use that kind of foul-mouthed language.
That's harsh words.
Yeah. And then, Jeremy, you maybe came out more on the side of that it's a spin-off of Alien. Am I interpreting what you're feeling is correctly?
Yes, I have. This podcast could be 3 hours long, easy. But in a nutshell, yes, I think, and the way I've come to view it is, if someone wants to call it a prequel, I'm not going to slap them on the head and say, well, you're dead wrong. I just don't think the term prequel is the most accurate thing the most accurate title you can give it. When you have to call it like you called it, a prequel of a prequel, I think you have to call it something else.
Okay, so but then my only argument here, and I may be the simpleton, I'm trying to be the moderator, I'm trying to be the Jim Lehrer here.
Yeah.
And I think that when the Star Wars movies came out, you had Episode 1, and that was a prequel. It wasn't a direct prequel to A New Hope, but it was the prequel of a prequel, so you can call it a prequel.
Sure.
And when I hear spin-off, I hear I feel like it's more something like, for lack of a better analogy, when DuckTales had a spin-off and they gave, Tailspin. That was a different show.
Oh my God,
that was a
DuckTales.
Spin-off, or Darkwing Duck. It was
There's got to be a better example than that.
Of DuckTales, and that's what I got
Yeah,
on
at least do Friends and Joey. At least go Friends and Joey.
Oh, Friends and Joey, that's
Friends
good.
and Joey, that's another one where Joey was in that universe, and then he still is related to that universe, but then all the other friends, particularly in that universe, the Friends guys were like, yeah, we're not going to go visit Joey in L.A. Good luck being an actor, idiot.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, if you look at Prometheus, the only real tie for 98% of the movie is the fact that you have a Wayland Corporation and a deeper delve into what that big dead dude in the chair was. The argument I would have with the Phantom Menace, and it's just kind of what the director did, is that I will always call the Star Wars prequels the prequels, because God willing, that's the way I can separate them from the other original Star Wars movies.
It's a nice out for a fan just to be able to say the prequels versus the original trilogy, what we actually love, and then the movies that we try to convince ourselves that were kind of good.
Well, the word prequel.
Yeah, and I guess I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, but if you really look at it, what he did was he added a numerical title to all the Star Wars movies. Like, The Phantom Menace is Episode 1, and the subtext is it's Episode 1 of 6. And then Episode 2 is Attack of the Clones is Episode 2 of 6. You get up to A New Hope, it's 4 of 6, and then Empire is 5 of 6. Point is, you could argue that Phantom Menace might not be a prequel. It is just part 1 of 6, part 1 of an entire 6-part story. But that's if you really want to go there and not call it a prequel.
Well, I think the word prequel now...
It's not a prequel, it's part 1 of 6. I would say, well, you know what, you're not wrong. Because at that point, you would have to call Empire Strikes Back a prequel, since it takes place before Return of the Jedi. It's a prequel to Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, Mark, you're of the mind that maybe the whole term prequel is kind of a bad word.
Yeah, the prequel became a bad word because of Star Wars Episode 1, I think.
Because
it has this lore to it now. Now everybody has a prequel before the actual main movie or whatever.
And in a sci-fi universe, you hear prequel, and everybody starts to get really nervous about the quality of the film. But I think that on the definition alone of a prequel, if it's following the same storyline, and George Lucas made it very easy for everybody, because again, like Jeremy pointed out, he did say Episode 1, and Star Wars just has more of those markers that you can pick up on easier. If you hear something like a Skywalker, or you see a droid that's C-3PO or R2-D2,
exactly.
Those are so ingrained in pop culture. Alien, it gets a little murkier, and you see the first shot of Prometheus is this white being that's got great abs that we've never seen before, and we've never met any of these people. It looks similar to Alien, but we don't know if that's just Ridley Scott saying, hey, I think I want to do a different universe that looks a lot not like this other one.
Yeah.
That would be my definition of a spin-off. And however, I think with this movie, I think that this does directly relate into Alien. And I maybe would have been able to buy the spin-off argument a little more if I didn't see that awesome shot of one of the aliens at the end, as Sigourney Weaver would say, one of the bitches at the end of the movie. That's when I was really on board with, like, oh, sweet. And then so that's the end of Prometheus, okay?
Right. Yeah,
and then you have Alien, where you have, that's what, 30 years into the future after Prometheus, is that right?
I don't know what the Jeremy, do you know?
I don't know. It's some amount, it's some decades later. Yeah, but it's not like it's 400 years alien resurrection bullshit or anything like that.
I know Aliens was 57 years. Aliens was 57 years after Alien, because she was drifting in space for 57 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's got to be a prequel, because it's the genesis of the alien creature, and we saw the genesis of the alien creature. Yeah, and I use genesis because of the religious undertones, and it
Well, very clever of you, Reilly, sticking that one
you.
in there. Wow, look at that.
I'm pretty good.
It's Bible study class with Mr. Reilly, Jeremy. This is intense.
What do you think, Jeremy?
There's no one else I'd rather do Bible study with than my friend Mark Reilly.
That's right.
But the argument I would have with that is that you do see the genesis of... Couldn't you say that it's the genesis of a creature? Because, I mean, it looked like it was a xenomorph, but I didn't see the little mouth on the inside. It did look a little different. I'm pretty sure it had like less fingers than the xenomorph had, unless I didn't get a good look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Jeremy. It almost looks like one of those things, like when you see on the you see cavemen, like man evolving the evolutionary ladder, and you see somebody that looks like Christian early on. Then you see a fully developed man like a Mark Ellis, and I love being able to say this without him defending himself. And you see, I think you do see a mouth at the end of there, but it's not like the fully developed mouth that you got in
bigger.
Aliens.
The mouth looked bigger than the little mouth that comes out and stabs you like an Alien or Aliens. So
yeah, I would say it like this. It shows the genesis of the xenomorphs, sure, but it is its own adventure. And Chris or Mark, you guys said that you should watch Prometheus through the eyes of it's own story, not a prequel.
I might agree with you there, though, because I was in the theater watching Prometheus, and that's the way I'd recommend somebody seeing it, is don't try to link up with this movie with, because again, it's not like Star Wars where you're going to have all these hallmarks of, oh, that's a lightsaber, that's that, I saw that in the other movies. This is one of those ones where I think you have a better time in the theater when you're not constantly asking questions while you're shoving popcorn in your face trying to enjoy this story. Just get into this story, and then afterwards, then you get to have all this kind of fun debate and have your own podcast about whether it links up with these other movies.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of the things, though, where I feel like if you have to watch a prequel and tell yourself it's not a prequel to fully enjoy it in the moment, then it is either a bad prequel or it's not a prequel at all. And if it shows the genesis of the xenomorph, then you could argue that any Lord of the Rings book, Middle Earth book that takes place in the First and Second Age that shows the origins of Sauron is a Lord of the Rings prequel. But it's really not. It's a movie. It's a story that takes place in the world, but it's not a direct prequel to Lord of the Rings.
I think if it's in the same universe, I think that is a prequel. I think that if there's other stuff going on, I think it's a spin-off where, again, if the xenomorph at the end of this one decided to move to L.A. and be an actor, then that's a different story, because now we're no longer going to follow into. But again, Ridley Scott could take this in any direction he wants. I mean, he is the director. He's getting up there in years. Maybe he's on his rocking chair right now having a wine cooler thinking, I'm going to fuck with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just going to completely
ruin.
I'm just going to completely take this in a different direction that nobody else saw coming. Let me get to a couple of these tweets, because Jeremy, we got a lot of tweets coming in here. Everybody's defending everybody else. We got George McCann at GC McCann Movies. He says it's a prequel because they leave in the same ship from the begin that is in the beginning of Alien. Now, Mark Reilly, is that I'm asking you, or Jeremy, is that true?
Okay. That's what I was wondering, and I don't know. I can't say yes, that's the ship, but that's where I went. That's where I went. But then the question becomes, where's the engineer from Alien that was in that ship? Because we know that David and the girl, they take off in the ship, right? And that's supposedly the alien ship that we see in the Alien. My God, I'm confusing myself now. Is that okay?
You know what I would like?
What would you like, Jeremy?
I would love and I'm just thinking about like how he can tie it in. Is that'd be great if somehow David sends, because I spoiled it in this movie. David was going to send a tweet to Ian Holm or something like that. But that would be great if Ian Holm, at the moment he woke up an alien, didn't know where they were going to go and what they were going to do, but at a point gets a message or a signal from David, in which case he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what's going on now." But yeah, I right now. I think we're describing mac and cheese before the cheese has entered the mac. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, Jeremy, dry pasta is the prequel to a nice meal at the Olive Garden. You got to have it shipped from Italy. So you're saying that this pasta is still being created, and then Alien would be actually us enjoying a meal together. Okay.
Yeah, I'm absolutely saying that what he does with the sequels will. I mean, I have no doubt that it will all link by the end. I mean, to the moment. And I will then be like, oh yeah, it's part of the prequels. But right now, I'm just not going to go there because it doesn't have all the elements currently in play, even if he wants to go there eventually. I mean, look at Robin Hood. He wanted to do like 3 Robin Hood movies, and we haven't gotten the second one yet. So it's one of those things where, like, what if we never, ever get the next Prometheus?
Yeah, I know. I was because at the end of Ridley Scott's Robin Hood, I was all pumped up because I'm like, yeah, now we got Robin Hood. Now he's here. Now it's time to really kick some ass. Then the movie ends, and you're like, oh, do we get us? What? Can I come back next week and watch the fun part of this story? No.
Right.
We got a couple more tweets I want to read. One of which is we have our good friend Catherine Reitman. It wants to thank everybody. Wants to thank the people of Prometheus for creating a new way for women to get cesareans. They have the at-home device that if you're a woman and you want to have that thing out of you right now, just hop in that thing and it'll take care of you. It'll staple your stomach. Was that not one of the coolest things you've ever seen? That thing stapling your stomach together. Just another reason why I'm glad I'm not a woman in this day and age or in any other.
Yeah.
That's funny. I wanted to watch Sharktopus right after watching Prometheus.
Sharktopus, yeah.
That's what. Whenever Jeremy comes to L.A., that's what Jeremy and I do. He'll crash at my place.
Yeah, that's right.
And we watch Sci-Fi Channel all night long. We watch the volcano. There was a volcano one, which I believe a couple of the cast members from original 90210. That is just fantastic if you can catch it.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
That's right.
Dude, the shock tops and rum and cokes are flowing.
Yeah.
And Mark Ellis is playing.
Well, I think as far as the prequel versus spin-off debate, I think what we've really broken it down to is a matter of semantics. I think that if you go by the strict definition of prequel, it probably is a prequel at some point, but we're not going to get confirmation about that. Again, it's like the movies themselves, the religious undertones. It's whatever you believe. And Christian, not here to defend himself, I'm sure he's going to staunchly defend the prequel standpoint. I want everybody to be friends.
He's pulling his hair out right now.
Yeah, well, I'm going with prequel because the alien shows up at the end. Mm-hmm. That's the connective tissue. That's what the everybody was wanting to see. But leading up to that alien, you got yourself a really fucking cool sci-fi story.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was enjoyable. It's one. I can say this about Prometheus. The fact that I have talked more about this damn movie in the past 2 weeks,
yes,
in videos and with people, it does show the weight that it does hold, and I would almost bump it up in a rating because of that. Just because there have been movies that I have loved more than this movie, because, like I said, I did enjoy it, but I wasn't in love with it. That I haven't talked about this much. So, I mean, the fact that people are talking about it this much, that's good. I like that kind of gravity.
I think that means that great minds think alike because, again, I schmo this movie 4 out of 5 schmoes because one of the things I like when I go see a movie is I like being sucked into the world for the time I'm in the theater.
Sure.
And then when I get off, you get to hang out with your buddies and ask questions about the movie, and then you get to have a spirited debate, and that's exactly what we've had on this podcast. So I think it's a cool thing. And I want to thank Jeremy Jahns for calling in and defending his position. I just want to make sure, Jeremy, that you're happy with how you were portrayed in this podcast, that your viewpoint has come off fairly as you want it portrayed.
No, Jeremy Jahns.
Well, I gotta say,
wouldn't it be great if I hung up on him right there?
What?
I thought it'd be great if I just hung up on you right there.
Just hang up on you. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, I was gonna say when I was listening to the podcast, I was like, oh, sweet, this Matt guy, he seems to be on my side. You guys are like, all right, Matt, well, you're gonna piss off now, and Jeremy's gonna come in. I'm like, oh shit.
That's right. We kicked him off the ship.
Yeah, they clearly are like, all right, let's fuck this guy's world up. But,
yeah, we said he had a dentist appointment. We have him chained up in one of those Lethal Weapon 1 shock things where he's just getting the water torture right now. Jeremy, thank you so much again for calling in. Do you have anything big coming up you want to tout on our show real quick?
I didn't expect to have to plug anything, but I can say this. I was at Best Buy yesterday, and I found Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection on Blu-ray. So, again, the rum and cokes and some fun reviews are going to be coming.
That's fantastic.
You know what, dude? If you're going to do that to yourself on behalf of all movie fans everywhere, I'll send you a case of Shock Top. You have earned it, my friend.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah. I don't want to watch Resurrection. I'm going to say that. I'd rather get the cesarean with the Sharktopus thing.
I would too.
I have to go through this shit.
Yeah. He is Jeremy Jahns. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel as well. Jeremy, thanks so much for calling in, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Good to see you.
Take care.
See you, Jeremy.
Bye. And because we're talking about endings, and our podcast, Mark Reilly, is coming to a close, I do want to take one more phone call because this gentleman, Matt, has been on for a good 45 minutes. And Matt, you wanted to know if we were satisfied by the ending of Prometheus. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, actually, because I know a lot of people are upset that there are a lot of open-ended questions and there's a lot of mystery left. I personally loved it. I thought that, again, all this debate is good, but there's also the idea that people are comparing it to 2001. I had that left questions, and I found out what the whole mystery was and what those obelisks were, and it ruined a lot of the fun for me. So I'm wondering if you guys thought that getting all the answers in one movie would have been more satisfying.
Okay, cool. I like where Matt's headed. Matt, thanks for hanging in there so long, buddy. Appreciate the phone call. What I think is that I'm excited for the next movie. And I think sometimes you do like a big chapter closing, like a Return of the Jedi, where everybody's having fun, they're partying, getting drunk on Endor with the Ewoks. Yeah. That's a nice way to close a saga. Sure. But with something like Prometheus, I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, it left me with questions, and I like that. I mean, that's what that's the whole reason for this podcast today is Prometheus and all this, polarizing comments on Facebook. Everybody, I have friends that didn't get it. I have friends that are hated it. I have friends that absolutely loved it. But yeah, it did its job, right?
Yeah.
We have the questions, and I want to see Prometheus 2.
That's right. And besides this spin-off or prequel stuff, we have so many questions about the creator, about the androids, all that stuff that we want to get answered. Yeah. But we're out of time.
We are out of time.
This has been the Schmoes No Movies podcast from Mark Reilly. Make sure you check out Mark Reilly's independent film, Gray Skies.
Yeah, grayskiesmovie.com.
And as always, our YouTube channel, Schmoes No, Twitter @Schmoes No, Facebook is as well. For Christian Harloff, I am Mark Ellis. See you next week.
See you.